Hello everyone, this is Joe here from Omnipoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon, and today we are looking at Umbreon Zoroark. It's an archetype that never really kicked off in our format, although it was somewhat popular in Japan. Now that it gains Choice Band and Ultra of the Moon, I believe it's worth revisiting as a much more powerful contender in the format. I believe this has answers to a lot of things, and its output just gets much better. For anyone who knows me and Omnipoke, you know that I have a minor obsession with evolutions, so I'm going to try and make these work in whatever way possible. So, let's get into this. First of all, we have a very thick 4-4-1 line of Zoroark, making it our main attacker. We are using the Moonless Madness Zorua to try and confuse our opponent's active. This is sometimes a really helpful option. Think about things like Sylveon, where they're trying to simply Magical Ribbon every single turn. If you can confuse them, that's going to be really annoying, so bear that in mind. Then we have Zoroark. This has been a card that's seen a lot of play since its release. Has 100 HP, is a stage 1, has an awesome ability, Stand-In, very similar to Keldeo EX's Russian ability, where if he's on the bench, we can just choose to promote him into the active without spending our retreat for the turn, which is really good. That means that none of our Pokemon can really get stalled. The only exception to that is Wobbuffet, because we turn off our own ability of Zoroark, but it's very good. It makes sure that even if we've led something chunky in the active position, remember Eevee has a 2 retreat cost, instead of having to spend energy to retreat, we can just simply stand into the active and start attacking with Zoroark. Mind Jack is still really powerful. If anything, it's got more powerful lately. It has a 10 base damage with 30 more for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon for just a DCE. Now, of course, your opponent can play around this damage, but most decks now are reliant on Tapu Lele, and even then, they're still probably playing Shaymin. Any deck that's Hooper reliant, think about Volcanion and Rayquaza, even Guardian in the early turns, Mind Jack's going to be doing good numbers, really good numbers. Not many decks are playing Parallel City, so many people can't regulate their bench once they have put these Pokemon that they need to set up into play. So either Zoroark puts your opponent in a position where they go for a half-baked setup, choosing not to go for Lele's, Shaymins, Hooper, etc., or they do go for the whole hog and you start pretty much getting into one-hit KO range, because this Mind Jack, with a full bench of your opponent, our baseline is 160. We have Kukui and we have Choice Band, so this guy gets pretty high now. So even a 4 bench is too risky for the opponent. They have to have a 3 or less bench, really, to regulate this Zoroark. Otherwise, it's just taking easy one-hit KO, for just a DCE. Very strong attacker for just an efficient cost as well. We're also playing one Zoroark BREAK. Jumps us up to 140 HP, which is a little bit nicer. And we also get the option to have Foul Play as an attack. For a single Dark Energy, we choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks and use it as our own. This is helpful against a few things again. Very efficient, really. There's lots of Elixir-based attackers that you can copy. Think about things like Lapras. You can actually copy their GX attack, which is hilarious. This does, of course, cost the GX attack, so you wouldn't be able to use Umbreon if you had used Zoroark BREAK to copy an opponent's. But against any GX, you can just steal their own GX attack. Very good against Lapras, very good against Tapu Koko. There's a few others where it's very handy as well. Even Espeon GX as well. So really good to copy other people's GX attacks, which is a phenomenal option. Against Sylveon as well, this is our most efficient attacker. He's a single energy attachment, and we just copy the 110 attack from the Sylveon. Obviously, they have resistance on us, so we're down to 90, but we have Kukui and Choice Band. Even if they are field blowering, we can oftentimes get 2-hit KOs and force people to max potion, pretty much, for just a single energy. Of course, they can Flag Run it off, but then we have 7 Dark and a Super Rod in here, and we're hoping that that's enough to pound through a Sylveon. Bear in mind, of course, that they can't one-hit KO us either, because we jump up to 140, which means we're even out of Kukui range. So Zoroark is in here mainly to make Sylveon a much better matchup. It makes it actually winnable. The only other way that we try and beat a Sylveon is if we happen to start Wobbuffet and they can't evolve up, and we just donk a Eevee on turn 2 by attacking with Umbreon. Obviously, Zoroark wouldn't work because we couldn't get the donk, because we need the opponent to have bench Pokemon. Alternatively, we could donk with a Lele as well. So either we beat Sylveon by going for Zoroark BREAK in a long, drawn-out game, or we have the Wobbuffet cheese approach where we just beat them because they can't use their ability and become a big old Sylveon. And that's especially the case if people just play the 4 Eevee build. So yeah, Zoroark BREAK, great in general for lots of EX and GX Pokemon, stealing high energy attack costs for the cheap and sneaky, and we also have the option to have a single attachment Pokemon against Sylveon, which is very big for us. So we are playing a 3-2-1 line of the evolutions. We've seen thicker lines of evolutions before. For now, I'm happy with just the 2 count of Umbreon. I think leaving Zoroark to do the majority of the work is the way to play this deck. Umbreon does offer a few definitely important things, which is why we're still playing the 2-1 count. Of course, we're using Energy Evolution Eevee because we're playing Dark Energy, so we can jump straight into Umbreon with a single attachment. This is obviously going to be helpful against the item lock decks, the new Trevenant, and of course Decidueye. So we jump from a 60 HP Eevee straight into this guy. We have the option to strafe, and this is a huge option that we will be using against Decidueye. One of our win conditions is simply strafe into Wob and rinse and repeat. Strafe doing 30 for 1 Dark. Now with the bonus of Choice Band, we can be doing 60 turn 1, which is a lot more pressure than previously. And he has 2 attacks as well. On top of that, we have Dark DCE doing 90 and 30 to one of your opponent's bench. The cornerstone of the deck, really. If we don't have stable damage from Zoroark, we can set things up with Shadow Bullet. Putting 90 on an active and 30 to a bench really is fantastic for going into Zoroark later to finish them off with Mind Jack. So although the opponent can go for a slow approach by putting fewer bench Pokemon down, we can still really access them and get 2 hit KOs quite comfortably. It's very simple for the deck. We also have the GX attack Dark Call GX. For a Dark Colorless, we can discard 2 energy from the opponent's active Pokemon. This again is very helpful against Decidueye. It's very helpful against a few other decks. Things like Quad Lapras, this is actually quite helpful against. And other DC reliant decks. Think about Trev Plume as well. This is a really good GX attack to go for sometimes. So yeah, bear it in mind. It's definitely an option. A lot of the time I will go more aggressive with a Zoroark route and try and copy for damage. But against some matchups, they won't play a GX attack. And sometimes Dark Call is just the best option at the time. So being aware of it is very good for you. So yeah, the Umbreon, just a 2 count because I think it's more in here for a tech to beat Decidueye. You simply strafe into Wob, strafe into Wob, strafe into Wob. Force them to find Lysandres over and over again. We have Dark Call to crush away their energies. It's really good for us. That's why I feel comfortable not playing Flareon, because I think strafe is strong enough. Especially because we can go into Wob, then we can start playing our items. We can Choice Band onto our Umbreon. Then we can go back into the active when we're doing even more damage the next time. So I think it's fine to not play what am I saying? It's okay to not play Flareon. I also think Jolteon is not too important. I think Rayquaza is kept in check because of Zoroark already. So I think Vaporeon is only really the one that we need to play to balance out Volcanion. Not only balance out, but make it very favourable. Volk often needs a high bench, but at the same time, they can play around it, especially if they just need to get over like 100 HP Zoroarks most of the time. We just drop the Vaporeon and make it impossible for them to play around. When we have Choice Band and we're doing ×2 weakness, we're always KOing Volks for a single DCE, and that's what we try and spam basically. So I really like the Vaporeon option. From there, I've mentioned Wobbuffet a couple of times. As I say, it's in here mainly for Decidueye, Vileplume, and other Vileplume variants. It's also in here for Sylveon as well, because you can just troll them and KO them quite easily. So Wobbuffet is still fantastic in the format. It's great to strafe at the early game against Volk also, and it's great to strafe against Aquabox even, because they are very reliant on Manaphy, and forcing them to dig harder through their deck, forcing them to like Lele for Lysandre to move this Wob is going to be funny for you. So yeah, bear that in mind. Very good card in the format. I feel like Ability Lock is crucial for a lot of matchups right now. It's also really good for slowing down like Rayquaza and Guardy players even, so very good card. 2 Tapu Lele. This works under Wobbuffet, so we're not completely useless if we do lead Wob, which is important. And yeah, he just gets a supporter from the deck. Very helpful. We play Fan Club, which is often our turn 1 play, so we can get multiple stage 1s down. Basics down, hoping to evolve into stage 1s later. We could even Lele Fan Club, attach Dark, and actually get a strafe in on the same turn. So yeah, very, very helpful. It is, of course, an option to attack with as well. Energy Drive doing it 20 times the amount of energy attached to both active Pokemon. So again, we just have more attackers that can finish off things if we've gone for early Mind Jacks, or if we set things up with Shadow Bullet with the snipes. Lele often will be a consideration and a viable attacker as well. Rounding it off, we're just playing 1 Shaymin EX for that extra bit of burst, extra bit of draw in the early turns. not too often that you want to play this down, and I don't feel like we need to play more than one, especially because we already play Rescue Stretcher. It's like a late game thing, and we also play a Super Roll on top of that, so we can recycle this Shaymin if need be. But I just like having the option for one. When we're in desperation spots, we can just keep digging that bit harder, especially because the deck is so reliant on DCE. It's good to keep digging a lot of the time to ensure that we get those things. Onto the items, it's a very simple line, really. We're playing a 1-1 split of Rod and Stretcher. I was really close to just playing 2 Stretcher. I love this card. I think this card is nuts. I play like almost one in every deck, I think. Other than like Decidueye, where Revitalize is probably the better option. But Stretcher is so good. I really am enamored with this card. It's great for late game, getting back a Lele to like close the game out. Great for Shaymin. And of course, we're playing just the 1 count of Zoroark Break. It's an important card, so if we can recycle that, that's awesome. We can recycle Vaporeon and put it down on the same turn that it got knocked, like on the response turn after it gets Lysandre KO'd. Yeah, just really good. The immediate effect is also just so good for the card. And Super Odd in here, rather than just 2 Stretcher, because I'm worried about Sylveon. I don't feel like 7 Dark Energy is enough to keep spamming with Zoroark Break. I think we probably do need like the full 10 to get over enough Sylveons to win the game once they start Flare Grunting like every single turn. So yeah, that's why we're playing the 1-1 split. And then a very, very simple 4 Ultra Ball, 4 VS Seeker. Because of our high Pokemon count and relatively high energy count, no space for anything else like males or anything, because we just need the slots elsewhere. We gain the new Stadium Altar of the Moon, which we're playing a 2 of. It combines nicely with Zoroark once again, because we can simply stand in with a Dark Energy, and that acts as like the float stone that can't be taken off. Of course, the Stadium can be taken off, but bear that in mind, it's pretty cool. I like having a split of Float and Moon, because it means that we can keep Choice Band on our Zoroarks, and that's the main thing that we want. So having the free retreat option via Altar of the Moon is great. Of course, we can do it on Umbreon as well. If you really are in a pinch, you can put it on things like Wobbuffet and move out the active. So, pretty good card. We are playing the 1 Hex Maniac again. It's trying to help Volk. It's trying to help Decidueye. It's trying to help a bunch of things. Greninja, of course, is a huge one. Greninja is probably one of our worst matchups for the deck. I think Guardy, Greninja, Sylveon are probably the hardest matchups for this deck. And Hex is going to be good in a handful of them. Again, if we don't even start Wob, we can Lele for Hex, attach DC to Lele, and see if the opponent can get a second basic down if they're playing the Sylveon list. So Hex is great for that. It's obviously great for Guardy, slowing them down, great for Rayquaza. It's great for a lot of decks if you can just play it on turn 1 if you have nothing else to do. So many options and so many times when this is a very valid option for you. Other one-offs, I've said Fan Club is often the go-to to get ourselves set up. Very, very handy. Teammates is also a good one with such a heavy non-EX focus. Although we'll have Lele's on the bench, we don't always have Shaymin, and we don't even always go into Umbreon, to be honest. Sometimes we go very heavy Zoro. Teammates is going to be great for grabbing DCE and grabbing our next attacker, basically, to keep going throughout the game. We also have Professor Kukui, and I've said a few times that our damage output is variable, depending on how many Pokemon our opponent has on the bench. So having Choice Band and Kukui means our baseline is 60 before we even start counting their bench. So this is rarely ever doing less than a 2-shot. Probably never doing less than a 2-shot. Very, very powerful when we have the damage increases. And it means that even when your opponent's playing around us, we can still get there, which is very good. We are then following it up with 2 Lysandre, pretty standard counts. 2N and 4 Sycamore. You could flip-flop the counts to a 3-3, depending on how much you're worried about discarding things against things like Sylveon. I don't think you have to worry about Garbodor, because we're a very heavy non-EX deck, and we should just out-hit them a lot of the time in the early turns, whereas Garbodor's not that strong early on. So, yeah, I'm happy with 4 Sycamore, 2N right now, but you could split between the two. The only reason right now I'm at 4 Sycamore is because the deck's aggressive, and we need to hunt for DCE quite a lot in the deck, so there we are. Onto tools, we're still playing Floatstone, even though we have the option to play Altar of the Moon in a high account, because we don't want to spend our attachment for the turn on things just to move them out of the way. That doesn't really achieve much, so putting Floatstones on Wobs are going to be important against things like Decidueye, but also putting them on Zoroark so that we can just have free retreat on everything is pretty good. Then we have the full DC, huge card, Energy Drive, Mind Jack, and even Shadow Bullet will require it. And we have the 7 Dark as well for the Foul Play, the Moonless Madness, the Strafe, and, you know, we can even just double attach to things for our other costs. So there it is. It's a pretty simple deck, and I've been having fun with it so far. I think it is very strong. There's few matchups that I feel very concerned against. And again, it's one of these that has a decent matchup against a few of the item lock decks. And I think that is a cornerstone of a good deck in the format right now. For a few options, if you want a bit of energy acceleration, you can play Oblivion Wing Yveltal. Alternatively, if you want to go more disruptive and have more sniping in the deck, you could play a one-of Fright Knight Yveltal, also shutting off tools from the opponent. This card is obviously much better for us now that we have Ultra of the Moon. We can actually retreat out of him quite consistently and don't have to be so reliant on our own float stones. So this could be a much better one-of in the deck if you're still expecting to finish off Shaymins by combining it with things like Shadow Bullet. So the baby Yveltal and the other Yveltal are definitely options. Right now I'm happy with Wob. I think it does just a lot for the deck, but you could start flirting with those sorts of counts if you're not liking the anti-synergy Wobbuffet can sometimes have. Tauros as well is also going to be good if you want to go heavier on the strafe route. You could play one of these. Obviously slows down many opponents if they can't get over the Tauros. The fact that choice band's now in the format, I feel like a lot of decks can, so that's the reason why I'm not choosing to play the one-of, but it does give us another option, a third GX attack technically in the deck if we count Zoroark as being able to steal anyone. So yeah, those are options. Alternatively, I really like this option. I was so sad that I couldn't find a space for this card because I think it's really good. This Oricorio, I really want to make a space for this card. Maybe going down to one Wobbuffet is too cheeky, but we do have Fan Club, so potentially we could do it. I think this Oricorio is really, really good. Supernatural Dance, putting one counter on any of your opponent's Pokemon anywhere for each Pokemon they have in their discard pile is going to be really great. I've already said how people try and play around our damage, so putting little pokes here and there of counters is going to be great for finishing off things we've already hit for Zoroark, or setting them up for future hits, which is great. And we already have sniping from Umbreon, so having more placement of counters is really good. It also helps us access the bench a bit more against like Decidueye and other things. This card is really good, and I wish I had a space for it. I'm really tempted. I think if ever I find a space, the first card I'm putting in is that Oricorio, because I think it's really good. It can even do 60 for 1 energy if there's a stadium in play, and stadiums are like everywhere right now, even with Field Blower. I think stadiums are like pretty much always in play, and 1 for 60 is like still efficient. That still finishes things off after Zoroark's come in and attacked, so the card is good. I should also add actually, for Pokemon we can also play the other stage 1 evolutions for the other type coverages. I've said my piece on why I'm not playing them, but you can be more safe against Decidueye if you want. You can be more safe against Ray if you want, and Yveltal. But that's up to you, really. I feel like they're in control already. Playing a few Nest and Level Balls are definitely an option. Right now, we're focused on the Fan Club, more so for spaces. You can see this list is already really tight. I think maybe cutting the Ultra of the Moons like altogether is potentially a way you can find 2 spaces, but you probably have to go up to 3 Floatstone immediately, so you only really gain 1 space. So if you cut the Fan Club, cut both Stadium, you can go 3rd Float, double level, to try and get more Zoruas and Eevees down, but I still like the option to Lele Fan Club. I think it's just very strong overall. So that's why we're not playing ball cards, which previously have been in the deck. Field Blower as well is a card that's lacking in here. We have 2 of our own counter stadium to try and contest the stadium more. I feel like Fury Belt is like almost non-existent in the metagame, so I feel that Blower isn't too important on our end, and there's not too many stadiums that we really need to gust like immediately. I'm not too worried about ability lock. We have 4 means of retreating with the double stadium, double float, so it's not that horrible if standard gets shut off. So I think it's overall pretty okay. But yeah, that is going to be the list, and we'll jump into the ladder now and have some fun with this deck. I think it is potentially a much improved archetype from previously. I've yet to decide whether it's improved enough to be top tier, but I do think it is at least a tier 2 archetype now because its damage output is so much better, and it's not worried about Garbodor, has answers to item lock, it has answers to a lot of decks, to be honest, so I do think this is in a good spot in the metagame right now, as it is still developing at least. So, let's go. Looks like we're up against Volk. So we definitely want to scout to see if Vaporeon's in the deck. And Wobbuffet is also going to be important here. So we lead, which is really good for us. Starting is really good against Volk when you're an evolution deck. That would have been a great hand. The Fan Club. Ah, come back, Fan Club. We need you. Okay. They're going to get a mulligan here. And we lead off. Oh, we did get Fan Club back. Huzzah! Okay. No energy though, which is a bit of a shame. The opponent's going to get one mulligan here. And they lead off with a Volcanion EX. No energy drop for us is a bit sad. Otherwise, Ultra of the Moon could have got us into a Wobbuffet turn 1, which would have been absolutely gravy. But we will be discarding this Umbreon every time from our Sycamore here. Losing Stretch is a pain. Looks like, yeah, Vaporeon is in deck. We still have the Super Rod though, so it's not too bad that we're losing the Stretcher. So I think I'm literally just going for these two cards and passing. It's a very slow start from us, but by threatening two Zoruas, it kind of means that he can't just go for Hooper shenanigans and just really set up as much as he wants. I will play no more cards from this hand. I think that's fine. We're setting up the response KO if we find Vaporeon DCE, pretty much, if he does start going nuts. We do need to find more Pokemon though. A DCE top deck might be our best thing here, because we could like DCE and then just Fan Club for more Zoruas and just accept like an early 2-hit KO. It all depends how crazy their turn 1 goes, how much they want to commit to their bench. Some Volk players will just say, you know what, let's get it all down, but it depends how good their opening hand is, to be honest. If he can already get a steam up and stuff, this could be good enough. Is keeping Eevee important enough? Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. We want to get over these baby Volks as quickly as possible. Here's one attachment, an elixir as well. So now that everyone's moving over to... Oh wow, just a power heater for 20. Okay. That's not bad at all. So we've definitely slowed them down. Still no attachment is rough. Really could have used that Ultra of the Moon there. Second VS he could pick up is really grim as well. I'm going to go for Shaymin here off of this. I think I'm actually going to evolve into Umbreon as well. If we get Floatstone and like a Dark Energy, we could strafe into like a Wob. That'd be the dream here. I'm going to go Shaymin Wob, I think. Draw 3, hoping to get energy here. Energy Floatstone, the absolute dream. Alternatively, just an energy so we can confuse is something. Oh, that's so bad for us. Those are some awful draws. Might have to Lele for N next turn, because this is a really painful Sycamore. Now, do I stand in? No, definitely not. Definitely not. Let's pass. I think 2 energy drops is really bad. They're going to start styling on us. Here comes Volk number 2. Going to see a steam up, which means he gets the KO here. And they're just going to... No supporter. They just get the KO here. We'll promote Umbreon. Zoroark not doing enough just yet. N is terrible as well because their hand is so bad. We're just going to stretch a Zorua. And we'll just Sycamore this hand. Getting rid of 3 VSE because it's so gross for us. But we've got to get energy here. Okay. They scoop? Really? Really? Okay. Sure, why not? They were fine. And they still had a top deck to look at. They were getting hit for 30 that turn. Okay. I was the one stressing out over here. Why are they scooping to me, huh? Okay, we get to go first again. This time we have the option to lead Eevee. We'll take that option. And we'll hold the rest. Looks like we're up against Greninja, playing Balloons and Labs. Sounds like Greninja. It's a bad matchup for us, but if they're playing Labs, it means they're not playing Rough Seas, so our snipes are better at least. Oricorio is actually one of those cards I want to put in to improve our Greninja matchup. Just saying. Oh. Okay, this is not what I thought it was. Definitely not what I thought it was. Okay. Do we have Fan Club? Yep. Fan Club will be our supporter, I believe. I think that's our best option here. Gotta love Tapu Lele. Such a great card. Let's just get the gang. Now most Golduck decks need to play at least Starmie. Some play Starmie and Octillery. So this choice band can't be too relevant. I guess choice band goes here in case they do play Shaymin, so we can one-shot it. I guess I just play the entire hand down here. Okay, this is a good hand to hold. Pass. Dig for DC next turn. Gonna see a level ball from the opponent. For a second, Psyduck. Silent Lab, Balloon, Splash Energy, and Confusion Wave. Confusing both of us, huh? DC is the top deck. So we're certainly not attacking this turn. I think we just stand in. DC active, stand in. Now, do I want to dig for float here? Protecting this to get the break is really bad in this matchup because they're only attacking with Golducks. So these are really terrible. So we'll just pass with this in the active. Try and get teammates value. Here comes Golduck with the perfect 90 HP. Gonna see just an attack for 60. No teammates value for us, I guess. Oh, Alter the Moon's a decent top deck here. Nice. Oh, we'll just Sycamore this hand. No need to wait on teammates any longer. Okay. Let's Shadow Bullet. Taking our first prize. They get the Splash Energy, of course, so they can recover it. But they only had one energy last turn. Unless they top deck an energy, they're in trouble. They put down another Silent Lab. There's the Psyduck and just a pass. We're not going to copy Confusion Wave. That's madness. Why do I want to commit energy? I guess it's just a Lele's. And we'll just bullet again. The 30 damage not coming in too relevant because they have 70 HP, so it's not like we could Lysandre and take a double prize. Man, Golduck, what are you doing on the ladder, Golduck? Get out of here! What's going on here? Trying to ruin my video, are you? I see how it is. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Damn it, Golduck. So for some reason Volk, which was a real matchup, scooped against us. And then we played a Golduck deck. We've not learned much about this list so far. Other than the fact that we have got good setups both times. Kind of. Like, we've built the board well. We've not had energy attachments against the Volk, but we built the board to threaten attackers. And our deck is full of like 1 energy attackers, so they threaten a lot just by being little Zoruas on the bench. We again get to go first. The dream. Start Zorua. Not the ideal hand here. We do have N if we feel like we need anything from this hand, but I'll probably just go aggro Sycamore. We are up against, looks like a Coco deck. Don't need Vaporeon for Tapu Koko. That's not great. Copying the GX of Coco is good. Random thought stopped me. Also, Tapu Lele attacking is good in this matchup. Okay, so we see a Jolteon get an attachment. Floatstone to Voltorb, sure. Just an N. Looks like they didn't have much going on. Neither did we. Well, that's a really good hand. They actually play Aether Paradise, which is nuts. Who plays that card, man? Okay. Let's attach. Hope we haven't prized one. Good. We have our second Altar of the Moon. Prize a choice band. Not bad. Not bad at all. I'm still going to put down the second one because I feel like he's going to try and play around our bench as much as possible. The more Coco comes down, the more it's like beneficial for us. But for now, at least, he can play around Zoroark. We have Stretcher and Super Rod, so I'm happy discarding this rather than giving him an N because he didn't do anything. No Floatstone is sad. So I guess we're just passing here. Seems okay though. If he wants to go Electrode, give us a prize, I'm down with that. Gonna see Elixirs. Of course, Elixir attachment Coco is also a play. See Field Blower, getting rid of our choice band. So we're down to 1 now. Attachment to the active. Sycamore digging for Coco, no doubt. There is Tapu Koko. It does its cheeky arrow trail into the active. They play Fury Belt, which is a bit of a worry because we don't play Field Blower. If we played Field Blower, we could negate 70 HP from this guy, but we don't. We're greedy, and we're getting punished for it. We're going to go in with Umbreon here. getting this guy is great for us. If I DCE, I have to Dark Call. Because we'll have 4 energy in play, and Tapu Thunder is horrible. I would much rather... So we can hit 130 with... No, we can hit 100 with his own Sky High Claws here. I don't mind it. We could weave in Hex with a Lele. I like it. $100 into... Oh, it's not enough. I might have to Tapu Thunder here. 120 into 60. Oh, this damn Aether Paradise is terrible for me. I guess I can get rid of the Aether Paradise. 120 into 90. Yeah, that works. Okay. So if I attach the DCE here, it's pretty bad. Because it means you can Lysandre KO it. So I'll just attach the Dark here. This also leaves us the option to attack with Lele next turn. So we'll just do this. We'll Hex. And I want to steal his Thunder. 120. So he responds with Sky High Claws. He's down to 90. We can... Oh, we replace his own stadium. That's nuts. Why? Puts him back out of range. That's so annoying. Why would he play a split? Oh, come on. That's nuts, man. Outplayed. Absolutely outplayed. It means we can teammates for the choice band though. So I'm just going to go Zorua choice band. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah. Frustratingly, we're on 4 energies now, so he can like Electrode, get the next Coco, Tapu Thunder this guy. Taking him down 2 prizes, which is pretty good, but from then on he's down to just 130 a turn, so we'll see, we'll see. In comes Voltorb. See an EXP share onto Thundurus. Man, all these cards that I should be playing Field Blower for. You got rid of a Tapu Koko. So maybe he's trying to power up Voltage Rush or something. I don't know what he's trying to power up here. Does find Electrode. Maybe he has another Koko in hand. Yeah, okay. Nice full art Kokos. I would imagine we get hit with the GX attack this turn. Keeps him in the game tempo wise. Putting down the Voltorb I don't agree with. That's like a snipe target for us to win the game now that he is going to Zap Thunder. Yeah, okay. So 3, 6, 9, 10. I think attacking with Zoroark is much better than attacking with anything else here. Stray for 30 is terrible because they have Rough Seas. Got rid of 3 Cocos. Lele for N here. Thinking I don't want to play the Stretcher. Stretcher could get me a Lele next turn, so I'd rather keep it in the deck. Floatstone is fine. We have Ultra Ball for Lele next turn. So I will play down this Floatstone. Just Mind Jack for 100. So the heal gets him down to 100 remaining. They do have VS Seeker, so they can get Sycamore here. Just kind of worrying. Oops. I see a Stretcher from them. Cool. Getting a Coco. That's really good for them. So they can go down to 1 prize. We can't Lele for N again because both of them in the discard pile. We can't Lysandre this and do 100 because our choice band is prized, our third one. Oh, okay, that option's gone now anyway. So we have to hope they don't have N basically. Lysandre. Which they could well have, they've not played any yet. So we're definitely in trouble here. Is Sycamore our best option? Guess so, if we can't N. Debatably, we could have tried to Lele Lysandre this, but we're not doing enough damage because of the whatchamacallit, the Rough Seas. So now let's just hope they don't have Lysandre basically. We can thin our hand as much as possible. Does this have a relevant? We'll just take this. This is the same as any other Pokemon on our bench now, so I guess we'll just keep it for options. 5 cards, Lysandre, they haven't played any yet. Haven't played any Lele's either. They have pretty high odds of winning here. Well, they've gone for the heal, which means they might not have the win, unless they're going for Pro BM. Ultra Ball Lele for game, I would imagine. Unless they go for oh, Electrode. That doesn't seem right unless they're trying to end me. Voltage Rush doesn't do enough. They have Sycamore. Okay, they're just trying to thin. Wow, they chose not to Shaymin draw. Interesting. Interesting. They could have Shaymin drawn to win the game, but sure. this works too. Pretty sure he's got this game locked down with the EXP share that he's got that I can't get rid of. 3 Coco's gone as well. I can't really stall, especially because he attached to it. What does this have? Just 1 retreat. And it can blow itself up anyway, so I can't stall it. Man, Coco's wrecking me. Okay. Super odd. It's something I do need to play here. I want to get Dark Energies back. Shaymin is fine. Dark Energy is necessary, and we have to end them out of the likely Lysandre. And we have to Shadow Bullet. I think the best option is still this guy, because he can just manually retreat this Coco. I mean, he has Rough Seas, right? It doesn't matter. I'm overthinking it for no reason. Oh, I should have recovered this card. I've just realised I need that card to win the game. Whoops. Man, no Field Blower in here has been so heavily punished. Nothing would have been achieved in this game had I played Field Blower. What's going on here? They shouldn't have done this retreat till next turn. They could have just attacked with this guy. What's going on here? What is this madness? Kukui's not on our discard pile, is it? Oh, we could have punished him. Oh, it is in the discard. Three, 6, 9, 12, 13. Oh, he does damage to himself. Cool. So we DC find Mega. Find the break. And then just Mind Jack for the KO. Alternatively, we just Mind Jack, keep VS Seeker to close out the game, guaranteed next turn. No, we can't, because he can just Electrode. Okay, so our win condition is DCE and Hex. Yeah. Pretty sure bad players made this a winnable game when it shouldn't have been. Damn it, Choice Band, I need a dual game. They go into the free retreater. Pretty sure only Elixir shenanigans means we lose here. 2 have already gone. If he leaves Jolteon active, we can just copy Flash Ray as well, which is hilarious. We've seen attachment to the bench. Oh, VS Seeker. What are they going to go for? Going to go for the Sycamore. Not scared of them. I mean, not scared of our 4-card hand at this point. They can hit Elixir here. There's a Field Blower. Getting rid of our Floatstone, I guess. See Ultra Ball as well. For Raikou. Do they have Elixir here? They have 7 cards in deck. They have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 energy gone. Okay, so we are dealing not enough damage. Can I stretch a Lele and Lysandre for game? I think I can. And that's why you play Tapu Lele. 3, 6, 9, 10, and Choice Man gets us there. Broken. Alternatively, we could Ultra Ball for the break for swag, but whew, we should not have won that game. Our opponent misplayed us out, but it was still really hard. But we got there. Man, okay, we'll have one more with this deck, because the 2 first ones didn't really count. Coco was much more difficult to beat than I thought it was going to be. Interesting. Okay. Psychic Colorless. Maybe this is like a Tauros Garb deck or something. Drampa Garb, Tauros Garb. Espeon Garb, one of those ones. Because they play Bridget, it might... Oh, they play Rainbow Energy as well, so it might well be Drampa. We have a turn 1 Umbreon Hex if we want it. If they're playing Evolutions, I will Hex them. Okay, not revealed much there. We are going to Sycamore this hand because Hex doesn't seem good enough here, because there's really not much going on. I'd rather start developing some Zoruas to threaten, and we're getting rid of 0 items with the Sycamore, so that's pretty neat. This is much less neat. Having to get rid of Ultra of the Moon, how bad is that? 1 Moon, 1 Float gone already. I don't think it's terrible. It's bad if he develops other Garbodor. But I want to limit how crazy their turn 1 goes, so we'll do this. Hold off on Shaymin, because we can play down 2 extra cards and Shaymin for more value next turn. Sounds good to me. We have 20 damage in our discard pile, up to 40. We have resistance on all of our dudes already, so far, going okay. They can, of course, stomp off if they want to get some more in there, but that is a very slow turn 1. Here is Tapu Lele. Maybe they are going to dig for that Bridget and reveal the rest of the contents of their deck. Bridget is really good for other GX Pokemon. You can get lots of Tauros and Drampa down all in one turn. That is indeed what they're going for. Because they discarded an energy, I imagine they have more in their hand. So they probably have another supporter and energy in their hand, then 1 mystery card. Yeah, okay, so it's Drampa Garb. Yeah, there's DCE. And a pass. Well, Zoroark is pretty big now. Choosing not to play around it at all, which is cool for us. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. So I will be sniping Drampa. Choice Band I don't think goes down yet because the math is important and Field Blower is already good for him. So we're happy to draw less cards here. The Sniper is also much better on Drampa because it means his Berserk is doing less damage. Of course he can simply, what's it called? Righteous Edge, but again it's a slow turn. If he's sacking 2 prizes to get rid of a DCE, I really don't care that much. So let's do it. 1 Trubbish down. Hopefully their supporter is not N, because we have a perfect hand right now. Energy Sycamore. Go on. Be a man. Oh wow. Rainbowing the Trubbish, huh? Yeah, Energy Sycamore. Boom. Nailed it. We nailed it. We know this guy's hand all day. Choice Band means Righteous Edge is doing 50 at least. There's Ability Garb, which is annoying. Oh, a lot more annoying if he also has a tool after this Field Blower. Don't have a Float Stone. Yes. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Very good. Let's jump into the active straight away. Three, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, we're there. We're there. I think I will still break. And we'll just fan club for more little dudes. We only have 1, but we do have Stretch of Rod. Okay. The gang's all here. Choose to play around Delinquent. I guess so. We are taking 2 prizes though. So it's Mind Jack. 3 prizes in. Looking pretty sharp. Damage wise he has 40 down to 20 with resist, so likely we're just getting hit with a Righteous Edge again this turn. That's another DCE. There's the Garb. Via Seeker. They only have Sycamore in there to use. This is all great news for us. So if we find a Dark Energy next turn, we can actually KO this Drampa, which is hilarious, with his own attack. That's what's so savage about Zoroark. Okay, so we dig for Dark Energy here every day of the week. Oh, well that's just gross, isn't it? That is just gross. I need to start playing around N now. I think it's better here most of the time. Not going to copy Big Wheel against popular demand. Nice. Those are some nuts pickups off the prizes. Up comes Garbodor. It's really not doing much. There's Lele. Also not doing much. It's of course Psychic type. Our opponent finally gets ability locked down. Gonna Lysandre up Umbreon for 20. Which isn't much of a deal here. Do we have game in any way here? Oh, not going to let me find out. Okay. Nice. Nice games. We overcame a Tapu Koko, although I think we shouldn't have. I think our opponent overplayed themselves out of the game. And we also managed to overcome Drampa Garb, which is tipped off to be one of the best decks in format, and we made it look really, really easy. They just don't have the answers for Zoroark, it seems. So, and also they chose to bridge it a full bench turn 1, so cool. I guess I'll take it. But yeah, that's the deck. Hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you think about this archetype. Can it contend, or does it have a few too many awkward matchups? Is it too easy to play around overall? Let me know everything down below. Leave a like to the channel if you haven't already. Subscribe as well. And let me know what decks you want to see next on the channel. I'll love to hear from you. But yeah, for now though, it's been Joe from Omnipoke, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Cheers.